welcome to the International TCM Diploma course. And today I will talk a little bit about the TCM diet. Also, you could call it the anti-inflammatory diet. Excuse me. So, there are some ways that you can focus on your diet and through that maintain your health in almost perfect condition. Of course, there's always the chance that you could have an accident, you could, break a foot or something like that. But as far as your internal organs and the balance and your immune system, you can keep it quite close to perfect, actually, simply through your diet. If you, of course, also exercise, because no matter what you eat, if you are a couch potato, so to speak, then you would have a serious problem because a lot of the nutrition won't be used in the right way. Anyway, excuse me. And in a TCM diet, or anti-inflammatory diet, those two terms are almost identical because in TCM, in traditional Chinese medicine, when we are looking at the diet, we are focusing on creating a balance in terms of pH, in terms of the type of nutrients that we get in our body that is all very balanced. And so we don't want to, for example, have very salty food or very spicy food or very cooling food and so on. So we are, and that is very similar to anti-inflammatory diet, because most of the biggest problem you could say that will happen through diet when you're eating the wrong way is inflammation. And inflammation in the organs can be quite damaging on your immune system and also to the functions of the organs. So let's see now. I have my notes here so I don't make a 2-hour video out of this, so I will try and make it as brief as possible. So it is number one. Oh, by the way, I just remembered. Let me just mention this first. Throughout, I'm now 55 years old and quite healthy, I think. I really rarely have any kind of problems. And through the past about 15 years, during my practice is close to 25 years I've been practicing medicine, but the past 15 years have been more intense, you could say, because I live in Indonesia, very far from where I was born, and the climate as well as the local diet, if it's very different from what you've been brought up with, you might have some adaptation issues with basically getting used to that. Although it hasn't been much of a problem, also because in Indonesia the local diet here is not very healthy compared to many other countries. Like Middle Eastern diet is generally better, Indian diet is generally better, Mediterranean diet is quite good as well. If you should focus on what you could call an ethnic diet, I would say those are the three probably most balanced diets that you could find. Anyway, I am a raw food chef, I'm a vegan chef, yes, I'm a chef besides, and one of the reasons that I am a chef is because as you are in naturopathic medicine, and in my case is Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, you learn and you quickly realize as well that the food is the most important factor in restoring health and maintaining health. So because of that, you learn a lot about how to use food as a medicine, but also how to stay on an efficient and beneficial diet. So I've tried many things. I stuck with throughout with, of course, the TCM diet, but tried different things to see how I could combine in the best way, because you want to stick with something that is pleasant as well, not just healthy. So I've been focused on a vegan diet. It's not bad, but it's not optimal. I focus on a raw food diet. It also is not optimal. It's not the best. It is very good and has many benefits, but I would say in general, you don't want to go 100% vegan. You don't want to go 100% raw. You might want to go 90% of those two, because there are, although you want to reduce animal protein, there are some benefits that you just can't get from plants. So anyway, it is mainly a vegetarian diet or plant-based diet with small amounts of organic, high-quality animal proteins. So that means a little bit of chicken and fish. If you can get fish, it's not a bad thing, but it's hard to find the fish that is not polluted or has a hormone problem because of fish farming and so on. Anything that has been treated or fed with hormones or is genetically modified, you stay away from completely. You also focus on mostly alkaline foods and very little acidic foods. That meaning you don't want to have a 100% alkaline diet, because that can create some other problem that you can actually, the body can actually react to that in a negative way. But you want to have it mainly 90+% alkaline. So we start with vegetables, because that is the main portion of the diet, and we are talking about vegetables that are lightly cooked, not cooked heavily like some stews that might be on the cooking on the fire for hour, 2 hours. That is not good. You want to have it steamed or raw, or combine it, steamed and raw and cooked. So for example, you could make like a dal which has a little bit of tomatoes, it has onions and garlic and other things, spinach, that is cooked in the dal, in the lentil, and then on the side you might have lettuce and kale and things like that. So I would mention Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, bok choy, dark greens, kale, spinach, collard greens, mustard greens, Swiss chard, carrots, celery, beets, squash, onion, garlic, ginger, etc. Ginger, you want to keep it, of course, there are people who love ginger, but you don't want to put too much garlic and ginger, because it has, especially for people who have low blood pressure, it can reduce your blood pressure until it's going to be a problem. Organic, of course, especially for leafy greens. So that means that if you have to choose and you can't get everything organic, you need to make sure that the leafy greens are the organic part. So if you have to choose, like for example, you have kale, you have carrots, you can't buy all of it organic, so you make sure that the kale is organic and maybe the carrots are not, something like that. So things that, I could say like this, things that are growing above the ground more important that where the part of the plant you're eating that's above the ground, such as lettuce, kale, tomatoes, and so on, it's more important that they are organic than root vegetables such as turnips, carrots, and so on. Because those things above the ground, of course, has a bigger use of pesticides. So therefore, it's if you have to make a choice, because it's not cheap today to buy organic vegetables, then that's the way to go. Anyway, so you want what we say 4 to 5 servings a day. I would say in total of your food intake, I would say vegetables should be 75%. 75%. So let's say you throughout a whole day you eat 1 kilo, that's 750 grams, and 250 grams is other things. Then we go to fruits. So of course you have basically any fruit can be good, but there are fruits that you want to reduce, not to eat a lot of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, for example, because they have increased fructose, sugars, and it will actually add to any form of pain or inflammation. So that means if you have any pain like arthritis and so on, you want to make sure that you get reduction of fructose and sugars in your diet. Of course, again, you choose organic. Berries are favored. That means that raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and so on. Dark berries better than light berries. So that means that if you have blueberries, they are better than strawberries, and so on. So if you have a choice and the price is not much difference, then you go for the darker ones, of course. Also here, I would say if you choose, let's say you are choosing 200 grams of fruits, that's a lot in a day, but you wouldn't want to go higher than that. I would say maximum per day 100 grams to 200 grams. You don't want to go above that. So like one piece of fruit, like one banana, half a mango. A whole mango is a lot of actually fruit to eat. I mean, depends on the size. There are small mangoes, so maybe a small mango is okay for that day, but I don't recommend more than one piece per day or one type, such as one banana, one orange, and so on, okay? Then, let's see what we got here. And another thing, papaya. Papaya is very good. It just has one problem. It has a very high amount of enzymes, so you can actually get trouble with papaya, especially if it's very ripe. So you want to make sure it's not too ripe and not too raw, because too raw, so you don't want to eat raw fruits. You have to eat fruit that is well ripened but not overripe. Okay. So we got whole grains and beans. I would say if we're saying 1 kilo per day is your food intake, then 70 to 75 is vegetables, then there maybe 15% is grain, such as brown rice, white rice, basmati, black rice. I personally would say brown rice and black rice is the way to go. White rice, not so great, because it's of course polished rice and it doesn't have much nutrition. Then we're talking about oats, we're talking about buckwheat, barley, wild rice, which is usually the black rice. Then we have beans, black beans, kidney beans, what do we have? Garbanzo beans, chickpeas, lentils, black lentils, dark lentils, meaning the best lentils are the dark lentils, and You know, not that the yellow ones are not good, but you know. So that means if you had a meal, it would be, if you have a meal on a plate, it would be that meal would be maybe 20% of it is grain, and 80% is the vegetable, and so on. Anyway, then we got oils, nuts, and healthy fats. We're talking about organic, extra virgin, unrefined coconut oil is the best. I would say it's very expensive. Okay, no matter where in the world, unless you make it yourself, you have a coconut plantation, then okay, maybe I would say, but that best you can use for cooking, like if you're stir frying, which is one of my preferred ways of cooking is stir frying, besides steaming of course, then I always use coconut oil, always organic, rarely extra virgin, simply too expensive. So just organic coconut oil. And of course, where that's for cooking, that means for stir frying and similar things. Then when you're having salads where you need some kind of dressing, you're using extra virgin olive oil. And yes, always extra virgin in this. Then we have organic flax oil that I personally I would say if you have access to flax oil that doesn't cost a fortune, it is definitely one very, very good thing to have a teaspoon or maybe a tablespoon daily of flax seeds oil. Okay. Avoid all refined oils, hydrogenated oils, and trans fats. It's garbage. Okay. You know, garbage in, garbage out, right? Okay. Then we got nuts, we got walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, chia seeds. Chia is like kind of trendy right now, and therefore it suddenly costs a lot of money. So I wouldn't bother with it. Avocado is a very good thing. Avocado is a fruit. And you can even use the seeds if you can grind it. That's a good way of getting some extra nutrition. And of course organic. You choose raw, unroasted nuts and nut butters when possible. Roasted nuts usually is not a good idea if you can avoid it. Peanuts, forget about peanuts, okay? You do not want to eat peanuts because the type of fat that they have is really bad for you. Which you can see in some of those countries that use a lot of peanut butter, they have a lot of problems. Not just because of the peanut butter, but one of the reasons is the peanut butter. Let's see. Oh yeah, of course, soybeans, forget it. You know, you just can't. I know some of the TCM doctors, when they are talking about TCM nutrition and so on, they don't have a problem with soybeans, but the problem is that they are looking at it only from medical point of view, and they are not really aware so much about the components in the individual fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and so on. So they are not aware that they have goitrogens, and you know, it's a lot of problems. Soy milk, soybeans is not food. Okay, I wouldn't even give it to animals. All right. Okay, let's see. Where are we here? Protein. Okay, let's see what we got. Wild caught salmon. Okay, trout, sardines, herring, cod. Okay, that's one choice. Personally, I stay away from fish. We have on our farm, we have a farm in the mountains where we have a fish pond. We are breeding catfish, and my family like it. I don't like it too much, and that is the only fish that we would eat, because you can't get fish today. It's very, very difficult to get fish that is not having some kind of issue. Either it's a farm fish that has problems because they are, they have this overnutrition that creates some kind of hormonal in disturbance in their systems and so on, and it actually creates toxins in their meat. And of course, you have from the ocean, you have all the heavy metals, mercury and whatnot. So forget about that. Okay, anyway, so fish is, if you can get it from a reliable source, okay. And then again, those fish I already mentioned. Then we got free-range chicken. Yes, free-range, not factory chicken. Grass-fed beef, if you have to eat beef, okay, beef is kind of the worst type of protein you can get. Excuse me. So, we don't eat beef. Or maybe we do, but it's like once a year, maybe. And that's a big maybe. Maybe once every 2 years. We eat chicken or, what do we eat? Yeah, chicken and then the catfish, which I do not eat though. Then we got, of course, eggs from the same free-range chickens. I would say eggs is a little bit problematic because of the cholesterol issues, and also because too many eggs can create problems and imbalance with the, yes. Where were we? Let's see. Oh yeah, then we have all right. It says non-organic, a non-GMO organic soy. Yes, I wouldn't even recommend that. Okay, organic dairy, which means that is like, for example, cow milk. It hasn't been injected with hormones, growth hormones. It hasn't got a lot of injection or any injection of antibiotics, because that is one of the problems that actually they have tested the milk that you can get in supermarkets, that there are traces of penicillin. Yes. So maybe not. Maybe goat milk if you can have a goat in where you're living. Yes. But again, the dairy is something you want to have like a tiny amount. Something like once a month, eat some feta cheese. Okay? You don't want to drink a glass of milk per day. That's definitely out of the question. If you really need a glass of milk, then the solution is buy some almond, make almond milk. There are many YouTube videos that shows how to do it. It's very simple. You can add a date to make it sweeter, and a couple of teaspoons of course, pure organic, at least pure chocolate powder, and you can make chocolate milk out of it. Quite delicious. That's a way to get the milk craving satisfied. Now we go to spices, and we are talking about spices that are such as turmeric, basil, rosemary, thyme, ginger, garlic, cinnamon. And those are actually our main, when we are cooking here, that's our main spices. We use a little bit of salt just for flavor, tiny bit, and that is Himalayan salt. Because you can't, the sodium you get, like the plastic bag, you buy a kilo at a time from the supermarket, the very, very cheap one, is really garbage, very bad for you. Then there are things such as supplements. There are people who like to take supplements. Our family do not choose to use supplements. But there are some supplements, but you really have to be careful and make sure it's high quality, really well established brands. If you find cheap, very, very cheap supplements, you can almost be sure that it's really not good. And it's very hard to actually get the supplements, the vitamins, especially vitamins, to absorb into the body is not actually that easy. Now about drinking. drinking water, okay. Not bottled water. Bottled water is out of the question, and distilled water is not good. Somebody's not happy there. Yeah, my kids are playing in the next room there. So yes, so water, of course, you need to drink water. So there's one thing is to drink the right water. To find the right water, you want to have a water filter. If you're using tap water, you want to have a very good quality water filter. Distillation is not a very good way. Filter water is better as long as it's a good filter. And then here we go, because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I gotta drink enough water. So they are drinking like 3 liters per day. Let me tell you, I drink on a daily basis, and by the way, I don't drink water at all. Yes, I don't drink any water, or maybe rarely, I drink, rarely do I never drink milk, and I almost never drink water. It's only like if I'm traveling and in some places where it's hot and humid and it's really, taxing, I might, get some water somewhere from and drink it, but it's really rare. What I do, however, is I drink tea. I drink green tea, I drink black tea. My favorite tea is Ceylon tea. Yes, and there's something about drinking that you have to know, and that is, number one, never drink cold drinks. It's the worst thing you can do. It's really bad for you, number one. Number two, you never drink before you eat. There are some people who say that, oh, you should do that, you should prepare your stomach, all of that. It's all nonsense. Do not do that. In fact, don't drink before you eat. Don't drink during your meal, okay? And of course, not cold, all right? In either of those two cases. And you should make sure that you have finished your meal before you even consider drinking. And when you drink after your meal, you should drink it slow. Okay, so you don't drink before you eat. You don't drink during your meal. You drink after the meal. You make sure it's not cold, hot or warm at least. And tea is very good after the meal. Okay? And then you drink it slowly. Okay? And obviously you drink and you have some stomach juices, some liquids in the stomach that is digesting your food, and of course you drink cold, or you drink in the first place, you drink it and then you want to eat it and then you expect to get the good results, and of course you dilute something. Of course it will not be as effective as undiluted, obviously. Okay, so that's that. Then yes, to the coffee drinkers, sorry, coffee is not good for your health. That's just the way it is. Okay? It is drains your system, it's dehydrating, and it also increases inflammation. Okay? So if you must drink coffee, make sure it's not every single day. And if you have to drink coffee, don't take the grande or whatever they call the big cup, which is like half a liter of coffee. Do not do that, okay? I would say I'm a coffee drinker. I used to be a coffee drinker. I stopped drinking coffee. It's very rare that I drink coffee. And the fact is, when I do drink coffee, I can feel it, okay? If you don't feel it, maybe you're already in not a very good health. So that change won't really be noticed, or who knows. So teas, green tea, white tea, herbal tea, oolong tea, Ceylon tea, but green tea is better than black teas. What I used to do is I drink 4 cups of tea per day. In the daytime, in the morning and the daytime, I drink black tea. In the afternoon and evening, I drink green tea. And that's because of the reaction of the tea. Oh yeah, I was talking about those people, oh, you got to drink 3 liters per day because you're sweating and all of that. Well, I don't have any issues, and I drink 4 cups of tea, is about 1 liter per day. And I've been doing that for a very long time without any issues. However, I do at certain times I do drink some. So I'm drinking 1 liter, but as I have sometimes, I might be traveling and it's a little bit extra taxing on your body, so I might be drinking an extra half a liter, 1.5 liter to up to 2 liters in total in a day. But that's only in those kind of situations where I am either doing extra workout, working extra hard, or traveling. But on a normal day where I'm having normal activities, it's 1 liter per day, basically. Okay. All right. Then we have another thing: avoid anything artificial in your diet. Sweeteners, artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial additives, MSG, aspartame, NutraSweet, whatever, all of these low fat, what do you call it? All these products that has like low diet this and diet that, low fat this and low sugar, and all of this is all garbage. Okay. Ice cream? No, there's not such a choice. Okay. It's simply, it will just, flare up your, what do you call it? The acidity. Okay, so we got another thing is, if you have a sweet tooth, you do like me, okay? You buy some chocolate, and you buy chocolate that is minimum 70% cacao content, okay? And of course, if it's organic, it's even better. Usually it is, actually. Not milk chocolate, that's just dried fruits is another way. You can get in most supermarkets the dried apricots, dried mango, and so on. And just a little bit, you don't want to snack on that too much. And of course, without the sulfur, sometimes when they make these dried fruits, they have this white powder that's basically a sulfur. So you want to avoid that. So be careful. Of course, sodas, Coke, Fanta, Sprite, whatever, whatever they call them these days. Yeah, so many choices. All of that is garbage. High refined sugar content equals inflammation. Okay. Honey, yes, there's one problem here. Honey is, some people consider that, oh, that's good, we can just take a spoonful of honey. Just remember, honey is sugar, okay? Yes, it's not as bad as the refined sugar you get in your pint with a package, this white, sugar, but it's actually not good to have too much honey. Stevia, agave nectar, it's some choices you can do if you really need to sweeten things, but you still want to be careful. All right. Anyway, that's all I want to tell you on this topic. So if you have specific concerns, if you have some questions about this, personalized assistance, dietary recommendation for your specific concerns and any other thing, you can contact me, inbox me in Facebook, email me, WhatsApp. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, I have an Instagram account, but I rarely use it, so I wouldn't contact me that way because I might not notice it. Okay, so I hope you can implement some of the things I've mentioned and get some good benefits. And I wish you the best. And don't forget, we have our 2.5-year diploma in TCM, in traditional Chinese medicine, that you can sign up for. It's the cheapest online course, and offline for that matter. It's the cheapest in the world, actually. And it's not the worst, I guarantee you. It's a very good course. And it's based on my 20+ years of practice of Chinese medicine. All right, so until next time, stay in good health.